Every new generation becomes frustrated with solving the riddle of companionship. We come up with new theories and subjective preferences to justify the life choices that we make, and still get disappointed when we cannot create the kind of relationships that we really want. The answers are there. All it takes is to glance back at our origins. Let's lay the foundation and establish the ground zero before we even take on this very interesting topic. I am honestly baffled that we have to talk about the differences between men and women. I remember how bizarre and obscure the idea of trying to prove the differences felt like back 3-5 years ago. Today, this topic has been taking more and more space in different forums. Kudos for promoting that elegant trickery. Something that is very obvious and basic to the naked eye becomes questioned again and again and again. Just look outside the window and you won't need any study to prove the obvious. The ground zero is that men and women look differently. Our bodies play different roles in procreation, which implies specific structures. For that to happen, the building blocks, the design has to consist of ingredients that contribute to those characteristics. The hormonal cocktail is so strong that it almost creates two different arts. From a superficial standpoint, of course. Breasts, genitalia, length, skeletal, muscular structure, and so on and so forth. If that cocktail is so strong that it influences the physical appearance, then it has to affect more than just looks. Men and women come together to create life, and because they are responsible for different portions of that soup, they de facto has to be attracted to certain attributes, and those attributes are heavily influenced by the biological imperative. There's no way around it. Men look for a healthy, fertile, aesthetically pleasing vessel to copulate with for continuation of the lineage. All women know it on a subconscious level. Some of them refuse to acknowledge it, others study it on a rational level to maximize their gain in the game of evolution. Then there's a thing called cultural nature, which can interfere with the biological basics, trying to sway the trajectory of intersexual dynamics into a very skewed direction. Let me give you an example. All around the world, the amount of women attending the higher academia starts to slowly and steadily exceed the amount of men. There are different reasons to why, but those are outside of the scope of this video. I'll tell you this though. Research shows that women are struggling in finding men who make as much money as they do, which hurts their dating prospects, meaning that on a deeper level they cannot seem to respect that disparity. Even in contemporary westernized cultures where women make their own money, they still care for men to earn more than they do, because it has to do a lot with the innate feeling of wanting the man to be competent, who basically can get things done. Although the provisioning and protection falls out of the necessity, it's still important that the potential is there. On the same note, women look for resourcefulness, confidence, strength, especially mental strength. Of course, looks matter, but it doesn't work in the same way as it does for men. A lot of dudes complain how they didn't have the luck to be born more aesthetically pleasing, so they feel that they're cursed. Let me explain how the progression goes. When a man sees a woman, he instantly registers a question in his mind. Can I see myself sleeping with her? And to answer that question, there's only one parameter to be checked off. Does she look good enough for me? This may vary depending on the guy's personal life. Like if it's been echoing with silence in his own apartment for a very long time and he feels desperate, then he may lower the bar a little bit. But if he is good with ladies and quite a charmer, has a success with them, his standards may go up. I'm not saying that any guy going through a dry spell would lower his standards, but many of them would do that. You know what I mean. For women, it's much more complicated than that, with multitudes of layers to the process. If his looks are beyond what she's used to, or his status is very high, it could click right off. Otherwise, the question in her mind would be something like, does he look good enough for me to test him further? Attractiveness can be based on different factors. Looks, swagger, charisma. If the guy's looks are subpar, for that specific woman. Some other traits of his can up her attraction level for him, like humor or other interpersonal qualities. It's very complicated, girls. That's why we try to bang our heads trying to figure you out. Especially now that the times have changed so much and the physical appearance comes to play much bigger role. I delve into that topic more in this video. Remember, although we can be pissed and jaded about these facts, it's nothing personal. It's just the universe tries to optimize its expansion in a most efficient and productive way. To sum it up, a male is drawn to a female who is good looking, healthy, and fertile, all of which are amplified the younger the potential partner is. Within a reason, of course, because the offspring will have the same advantages, further enhancing the procreation possibilities of the lineage and the upcoming generations. A female is drawn to a male who is very resourceful and can find solutions to different predicaments of life. As the societies progress and become safer, the choosing criteria expand to maximize even more the survivability, the thriving, in our case, of the offspring. Perks like looks and status gets thrown into a mix to a larger extent. What a woman wants, you ask? Depends where she is at in her life. What men want, you ask? Hot young women. Evolution, baby. That's why this word here is a pure deflection of reality and a tool for compliance, making men to be ashamed of their own nature. Even though men objectify women, it doesn't mean that they want a doll who can sit down and shut up and look pretty. I guarantee that most men find deeper interaction with women, regardless of the initial reason, more interesting and fulfilling than just superficial one. We're drawn to each other because we're complementary and enjoy what the opposite has to offer, because we don't have those qualities ourselves. These are non-existent, only reckless a-holes, and those can be found within any group of people or any gender. Male ones who are straight up inconsiderate and lack integrity, female ones who are maliciously manipulative and use others for their time and resources. These attributes will stay the same, regardless of what cultural time we live in. And even if there are some people who try to neglect that and change it on a rational level, they will never succeed in denying humans their own nature. Puppy out.